are all of us so very, very honored to be with you tonight to read the poems of the prisoners of the concentration camp of Guantanamo Bay. Oh, Father, this is a prison of injustice. Its iniquity makes the mountains weep. I have committed no crime and am guilty of no offense. Curved claws have I, but I have been sold like a fattened sheep. I have no fellows but the truth. They told me to confess, but I am guiltless. My deeds are all honorable and need no apology. They tempted me to turn away from the lofty summit of integrity, to exchange this cage for a pleasant life. By God, if they were to bind my body in chains, if all Arabs were to sell their faith, I would not sell mine.
Well, I believe that the only way that America and the world will ever really find out what happened to us when we unleashed the hounds of hell and moved down this path of torture is through a truth commission. We have lost complete, almost total trust has been eroded from the institutions and the mechanisms that currently exist within American society to try to establish accountability. It's about us finding out what happened to us as a country. How did we allow ourselves as a nation, as a society, to move down this path?
We gather here tonight to create a decisive moral response capable of restoring both America's dignity and standing in the international community.
We're joined by some of the nation's most influential voices to debate and discuss how to create a blueprint for accountability.
Mr. President, from anonymous graves, voices still cry out.
If there ever was a moment in modern U.S. history when substantial change could have been implemented, it would have been now.
Take a stance in moral opposition to torture. We want to encourage behavioral administration to recognize that this country is founded on a very simple principle. Our elected officials are intended to govern with the consent of the governed.
How can it happen? I mean, how can we let it happen? And that it be in our name, in your name. Please, how can you? And then for someone coming from South Africa, it's incredible to think that you have this deja vu. That's exactly what they said in South Africa. Hey, the apartheid government, why are you detaining these people? Why are you banning state security?
This whole issue of impeachment being taken off the table by the Democrats is very significant because of how we understand what's going on in this country. It really all depends on the media, since the media are the most powerful institutions on earth.
The Culture Project takes issues that are at the forefront that most mainstream media just kind of glosses over, and really digs and goes in depth in theater, in film, in music, in all aspects of media and all aspects of kind of entertainment.
The Culture Project is an arts organization that focuses on human rights, social justice, and tries to use the resources of culture to transform some of the ailments that we have in our civilization. Once your heart is open, then the possibility of solutions for challenging issues and problems become more accessible.
Whereas, on the 22nd day of September, in the year of our Lord 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States, containing, among other things, the following to wit: that on the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free.
It's our fight and privilege to represent those whose voices are less heard. So whether they were less heard 400 years ago or less heard today, it's somewhat irrelevant. There are plenty of people today whose voices are not given as much respect as other people who have been born into privilege.
It's wonderful to be commemorating the end of something because it shows you that you can end something. And I wanted to be sure and bring in through the song the fact that this is an issue today. Human trafficking and slavery is an issue today, bigger than ever. But let's remember that we ended something, and so we can end this too.
We can win without a fight, but only love can take us there.
I love it when we all come together with all generations, all genres, all countries to create and ignite a positive spark on today's generation.
Where are my poor bleeding brothers and sisters? Who was it that sent them off to cotton fields to be whipped and to die? If your emissaries come here to re-enslave me, I trust my brave friends in this city will be my rescuers and avengers.
The long-term vision is that we should celebrate the work of women, and that as they're growing as a really formidable political force throughout the world, they should be an artistic force as well.
Whose child am I, Haiti, when I do not know the screaming girl's name? Today, I said, somewhere in Port-au-Prince, capital of my tropical island hell home, 200 years of black rebellion, zombie Haiti, Hades, Ticheri, a sweat-stained little girl screams from the cold.
Women Center Stage is an arts festival that supports women artists who are doing work that engages social justice issues in the world.
I want to just say a little bit of what you can do for V-Day and to stop violence against women. And I really want to thank the Culture Project and Alan, particularly Bushman, who has just been a force for good theater and good art and good life and good change in the world.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams, and I'm taking a break from shooting my talk show to tell you about an amazing new play that I've had the honor of performing in here in New York City. It's called The Exonerated.
What has been done through this play is one of the most extraordinary events I have ever seen, and it will do more to promote justice than any literary effort that I have seen.
Stunning in its simplicity, 6 true stories of death row inmates that simultaneously document obscene miscarriages of justice and the resilience of the human spirit. More than a polemic against the death penalty, this production finds the poetry in these real-life stories. Every word spoken was taken from public record or interviews conducted by married authors Jessica Blank and Eric Jensen. The astonishing cruelty of one human being to another and the inherent corruptibility of the system cries out for a response.
She is truly a woman of many worlds, and Sarah Jones, actress, playwright, and poet, is also a woman of many roles.
My name is Gladys, and I am a poet / performer.
This is not an Asian lotus blossom love poem.
But I've been trying not to be nervous. When I get nervous, I talk really fast. Nobody can understand nothing that I'm saying. It's like so frustrating for me.
They all can be found in her critically acclaimed one-woman show, Bridge and Tunnel. Jones and her chorus of characters are the talk of New York. At the play's opening last month, it was clear that Sarah Jones had arrived. And one of her biggest fans is one of the show's producers, actress Meryl Streep.
When you first saw her perform, do you remember what your reaction was?
Yeah, I did.
I fell in love. I mean, I felt like, oh, this is the person. This is, you know, the one I've been waiting for. This is the person that can really do it. I looked at her, I thought, ooh, a member of the tribe. We're in the same tribe.
October 23rd, 2009 is the UN concert, a tribute to peacekeeping. There's going to be incredible musicians from all over the world. Emmanuel Jal from the Sudan, Sister Fa, Angelique Kidjo from Benin, John McLaughlin from England, Harry Belafonte, Lang Lang from China, Tircio Palados from Colombia. Isha Sese from CNN will be one of our hosts of the evening. All this will be under the musical direction of Nile Rodgers. I'm very excited to be able to be part of this and to present short films of the peacekeepers in between the setups of these wonderful musicians who are going to play. You know, we spend all this money on war. It's nice to spend a lot of money on peace.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Ali Abdul Salam Treki, President of the General Assembly. Your Excellency, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Ivo de Boer, Executive Director of UNFCCC, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Treki, for inviting me to address the General Assembly. The 21st century is already a decade old, the time when leaders could claim not to understand the implications of the evidence before us is long past. As powerful people, you will be judged by your children, your grandchildren, and all the generations to come. They will ask, did you do everything you possibly could to stop climate change? And as I sit here before you today, I'm very conscious of how many different nations are represented here, and that each member state has its own issues, its own policies, but I am also very conscious of the fact that whatever our race, color, or creed, this, above all, is the United Nations.
You know, you can touch the surface in 90 minutes, but you can also open a world for people, and that's what's so great about what the Culture Project is doing. I don't know any other place in the country that is able to bring so many issues to the forefront and doing it in a very entertaining way.
That's what I hope we can do in the theater, is to generate and rekindle hope that's coupled with purpose, that's coupled with action, that's coupled with change.